Have you been wondering about the Brockville Shopping Center and what's going to be happening over there? Well, to tell you about the future, we have in the studio with us today the Chief Empowerment Officer, which happens to be Jameel Madhani, and he is with the Transit Capital Corporation. Let's talk with him and find out what's happening. I probably messed your name up, and I'm sorry if I did, Jameel.
It was very smooth. Very nice.
Very smooth. I tried. What attracted you to this particular property, the Brockville Shopping Center?
We had purchased it 6 years ago, but my relationship to the plaza predates that. I had worked as a development director for the owners, the prior owners, and that was mostly as a result of the former property manager, Equiprop Management Limited, who had managed that plaza for decades, which was led by my father, Bahadur Madhani.
Okay.
And when that management concluded, mostly for retirement reasons, we had developed a relationship, a few years of me helping them with a new plan once Zellers had announced that they were going to close.
Yes.
And in retail plazas, often the closure announcement of an anchor tenant then triggers the potential early terminations of many others. And so Pharma Plus was one of those. The LCBO was looking to relocate to find their own standalone pad.
Yes.
They gave them a business plan, and we said, here's what the future could look like for the plaza. And they opted to take that plan, but didn't see the need for a major investment at that time. And so I continued to do what I was doing in the United States at the time. And a few years later, we stayed in touch. They asked me to come back and present a plan as to what could now, what the future could now hold.
Yes.
And one thing led to another, and we entered into an agreement to purchase the plaza from them. And a wonderful group of people, many of them who chose to become partners with us in the next chapter.
Wow. Isn't that amazing? Eh? Oh, sometimes things will just fall into place, don't they? They really do.
It's nice when it at least seems like it, and in the meanwhile, we're always making things happen, beneath the surface. But it's good to be here now.
Well, good. Well, we're glad you're here. So, when you look at the site, tell us what you see. What is your vision for that site?
To provide supports to the demographics that exist today in the city, which thankfully the natural beauty that Brockville offers, but the cultural heritage, the industrial strength, the community loyalty, these are the themes we're trying to honor with the plaza. And so it isn't a plaza to us. It's really a part of the next generation of infrastructure that supports young families to feel welcome in Brockville, to partner with entrepreneurs, local entrepreneurs, to develop their markets, as it were. And so we're trying to be as open-minded as we can to learn about what those needs are. And then, of course, the larger retail businesses that might operate on a national or an international level are also welcome, but there's a role for them. This isn't meant to be a big box retail center by any means. It's a village. It's intended to be pedestrianized and promoting themes like active and healthy lifestyles, rural entrepreneurship, even though Brockville isn't quite rural, it's somewhere in between.
Yeah, we are.
and those are the main themes.
Wow. That's Brockville. So you do not live in Brockville, right? You're back and forth from Toronto?
When we started, that was certainly the case. I still do as much mileage, but now I do live in Brockville.
You do? Good for you.
And so I used to visit 1 or 2 days a week, and now I live in Brockville Monday through Friday to then spend some time with family on the weekends.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
We all lived together here for a few years, and daycare, the waiting lists were long enough where we weren't able to get in. And so now the little guy is in daycare outside the city, and so that's how we manage it.
Oh, good. Well, welcome to Brockville. So, what kinds of economic opportunities will there be for the community once you actually have? Well, I don't know. You might have already done shovels in the ground. I'm not sure. But what are some of the economic redevelopment opportunities?
So I can answer that from two main standpoints. Well, three really. Mm-hmm. The site sits on 15 acres. It's 190,000 square feet. And we've had a great working relationship with the city over the last several years to rezone the property twice, in fact, and one to allow for a residential district to be formed in the area that's in the rear parking lot behind the old Zellers, which is now the core, the recreation center that's there.
Yes.
It's home to Stingers.
Yes.
And so from a trades standpoint and from a construction activity standpoint, it's $170 million, this project. And we've severed the property, and we intend on doing additional land divisions so that eventually we'll have up to 9 separate parcels, which could be investment opportunities for investors as well,
yes,
who might want to locate their business on site and own their building. That's a possibility as well.
Okay.
And then, of course, from a retail traditional leasing standpoint, as mentioned, local entrepreneurship and how we can promote businesses that are promoting these same themes relating to active and healthy lifestyles, or whatever the case might be, which could be in healthcare. And we're trying to see where the greatest demand is and how we can welcome new businesses into the city and strengthen existing ones that might want to have access to a prime location like this one.
Which it is. I mean, it's just off the 401. It's so, and it's in the north end. It's a nice area.
There's many signage opportunities coming as well to take advantage of that 401 frontage, because we know that the signs have been a missed opportunity in the last few years.
Mm-hmm, for sure. So people, I would assume that our listeners want to know about phases. Are you going to be doing this in phases? Yes?
Yes.
Where are we right now?
We've spent the last 6 years working on development approvals, entitlements, and things that aren't as tangible or visible.
Right.
Thankfully, we're concluding those processes. And so within the next, let's say, 3 months, and don't hold me to that. No. That's what we hope for. Mm-hmm. But we have one site plan application that is pending conclusion in the next few weeks, I would hope, which then allows us to build our first new building, which is a 3,000-foot building that would be home to 2 new retailers, including one drive-through.
Oh, okay.
And it's a very well-known group that we're looking forward to welcoming into the city. Mm-hmm. We are in the midst of a construction project now to improve the building where Dairy Queen and Valvoline are.
Yes.
And a little known fact is that in between those two tenants is a unit that you wouldn't notice because their storefront is actually just a brick wall.
Okay.
But we're installing the storefront for another well-known food restaurant that will be looking to locate there within the next 6 months or so. So that's the first one. And then the next phase would be a complete recladding of the building facades of the frontage of where our barber is now. And that's a 15,000-foot building that has opportunities to welcome at least another 4 new businesses. One of them is already underway with renovations, and that is one that we hope to announce, that they would announce in the next few months as well. But one that's more in the realm of entertainment, recreation. Think of date night.
Yes.
Think of games and the old, if you remember the old tiki tiki club, tiki bar.
Yes.
So it predates me, but in that realm.
Okay. All right. Oh, this really sounds exciting. Really, really does. So, how did your vision come about? Meaning, have you seen something similar to this, either in the States, in Canada somewhere? Have you seen something similar to what you are trying to do?
I have to I ask my team to keep me focused from not doing too much research because it's fascinating what's happening to retail properties across North America, and I would include Western Europe,
Yes.
where you have sites like these that are 50 years old, 60 years old. They provided tremendous service to the community at a time when there wasn't a shopping mall, outdoor or indoor. And now that we're in this generation where many things are being purchased remotely online, what's missing is connection.
Yes.
And what's missing is spending less time on the screens, more time with each other. And so there's tremendous examples, including in remote, more further afield countries like Colombia. So we're looking at what the United Nations has recognized and awarded projects that observe the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And we see examples of NGOs participating in these projects. The new category of investment capital that's termed social impact capital, where they still achieve market rate returns, but they have financial metrics in addition to other social metrics, including environmental sustainable metrics as well. So we've been studying this with our team. We have a board of advisors. We have a separate nonprofit organization, the Hubs of Co-Creation, which we support, that also does this type of research. And so for about a decade, I've been studying these concepts, and I participate in committees elsewhere where I'm learning and contributing to try to see how many of these best practices we can bring to Brockville, and at the same time, just make sure that we're taking one step, left foot, right foot
Yes.
on the project every day as well.
Right, yeah. So that's a lot. That's a lot. What is it going to be called? It's not going to be called the Brockville Shopping Center. What are you going to call it? Is it going to be a village or?
It's Stewart Village, and that's a nod, of course, to the street to the boulevard that we're on.
Yes.
But also other themes that we've seen work well in other cities, where you have a significant commitment to pedestrian activity. Often that includes green space.
Yes.
And not just a token amount of green space, but I think that we are 2 or 3 times the required green space as per what zoning would require to create those kinds of interactions. And so the village would ideally center around a large park, which would be perhaps the only such park in Midtown Brockville.
Wow. Oh, I'm excited about this. I wish it was done tomorrow. I want to see this.
Then it wouldn't be as much fun on the way.
I know, but okay. So what are some of the challenges that you've run into with this particular property that you can share with us?
How much time do we have in this interview?
A couple more minutes.
So they're the typical development challenges.
Okay.
We also navigate we've severed the property into 4 parcels. We are creating 5 additional parcels. And because of the historic dry cleaner that was on site, and because of the neighboring former gas station that was across the road, we navigate environmental,
Of course.
and we have been
Yes.
for over 10 years.
Right.
And so we're just about to embark on our next round of testing, remediation, in order to make sure that each parcel individually is as financeable as possible. So that's the challenge, is that the site historically was not financeable.
Right.
And so
yes.
there was no commercial bank that would provide any kind of capital to this project. And we went in with eyes wide open about that. But now thankfully we have separate lots, and some are more financeable than others, either because of the fact that they contain no contamination or because
Right.
they're fully occupied, as opposed to the plaza at large, which is not.
Thank you for coming in and sitting down with me today. I really appreciate it. And please, you will come back as you go through the different phases of building. Yes?
Indeed. And
Okay,
I'm
I appreciate
very happy
that.
to have a live walking tour as well.
Okay, thank you ever so much.